Welcome back to another episode of the Hermit Poetry Series. I'm Neil Aitken, and on this channel I read poetry, mostly work by contemporary poets, occasionally poems of my own, and once in a while poems from the past. Today's poem comes to us from Cynthia Marie Hoffman from her book Sightseer, which was published by Persea Books in 2011 and was winner of the 2010 Lexi Rudnitsky First Book Prize in Poetry. I'm going to read a poem from the last third of this collection. It's a longer poem entitled "Dear Pigeons, Poland," and I hope I do this justice. So, without further ado, "Dear Pigeons, Poland. Thank you for being the only thing already at work in the 10 acres of pavement at Main Market Square, when all the shop windows were clicking their shades like tongues, and the Basilica of the Virgin Mary was shaking its gold-plated crown, thinking, too early, too early. No American woman with a Nikon and a soft bag bulging at her back should be walking here at such an hour in the morning, when the fog was still impaled on the town hall tower and had yet to rise off it like a wounded soldier who rips the tough fruit of his own heart from the sword. Thank you for letting me gawk at the Krakow I was not meant to see, the vulnerable, slumbering Krakow, whose infantry had yet to take its post behind glass displays sprouting with green Polish amber and two-ply tableboards laid with rounds of lace so tortuously delicate you would have guessed the women had taken their needles to a mound of snow, shaving a lean gauze from where it settled perfectly radial on the head of a shrub. Thank you for being so brave you didn't betray my silent infiltration with a mad slapping of wings, for your puffed-out chests and your bustling preoccupation with pecking at the ground. Thank you. Thank you for the obsessive neurosis of your seed-hunting dance, in which you were like the wooden figurines of a cuckoo clock who glide through the opening shutters in traditional Polish costume, man in his black felt hat, woman in her silk vest embroidered with pearls, and sweep their arc into the turning of the hour as if they were skating on ice. You were 100 of these figurines spilled onto the clockmaker's floor. Thanks for your three-pronged hot pink feet, which seared into the frozen slabs of concrete, for those lopsided stars of warmth as I shivered in my short sleeves and vigorously rubbed the goosebumps from my arms. As I slept bundled in the overnight train from Prague, I couldn't have known that the wheels barreling down the tracks was the force of the mercury sinking down the thermometer's long, slippery throat. When it was too early to buy a sweater or even hot chocolate in a thin paper cup to press against my cheek, thank you for being the one thing that reminded me of home. Despite the fact that you are listed as one of the tour guide of Krakow's top 10 must-see landmarks, despite the fact that you are so stalwart, so unflinching, not even the brazen, resounding bong of the Zygmunt Bell's 660-pound clapper could send you off in a flurry, that perhaps they are right to call you a landmark. Still, you were no different from American pigeons stabbing their beaks at the frozen slabs of concrete in Chicago. You could have been New York City pigeons, deaf to the screeching of tires and horn honking, going about that same crowded dance for the crumbs of a blueberry muffin, as if they had stolen from seagulls the secret of an ancient fisherman's knot, and were tying it there in Times Square. You made me think of London, the pigeons in Trafalgar Square, gathering around the children who spilled seeds out of paper cones that might as well have been dripping with ice cream. They are the pigeons descended from pigeons, who heard the rumbling and shriek of the Blitz and refused to scatter into exile, even as their delicate bones were snapped by the hurling flight of bricks. Neither the scampering torment of children's feet, nor the echo of Big Ben's distant alarm on the Thames, could lift those pigeons off the cement and into the trees. Thank you for reminding me of my dearest friend, who I photographed kneeling in that rippling flock, holding out his hand as if he were touching the surface of a puddle. I thought of the time we argued music theory late into the night at the diner with the swivel-top bar stools and the plastic packets of cream, and he leaned in, his long hair dipping into his bottomless cup of joe. "There's no such thing as a G-scale," he whispered. "It's just the name someone gave the sound of those 7 notes being played in that order." And with that, he puckered a kiss around his cigarette, and suddenly, when I looked around, there were no swivel-top bar stools. There was only the name we had for them. No plastic packets of cream. The glasses that kept slipping down my friend's nose did not exist. The finger he used to push them up again was not a finger. That morning in Krakow, lonely and cold, you reminded me that I was at home, that there is no such thing as Poland. It is only the name someone gave to the shape the land makes when it is drawn on a map, a leaf dangling out of the Baltic Sea. Because there is no such thing as a Polish pigeon, there must be no such thing as homesickness. Thank you for reminding me of that moment I stepped outside and took in with wide eyes the lamppost that didn't exist and the light within it, inside it, that wasn't defining a fixed globe through which the snowflakes flashed and then disappeared. That was when I knew not everything could belong to me at once. I could have either the entire world or language. And as the heavy door of the diner swung shut behind me, it latched with a sound so clamorous. It could have been the clapper of a giant bell weighing 660 pounds. And that was Dear Pigeons, Poland from Cynthia Marie Hoffman's Sightseer from Persea Books 2011. If you enjoyed this reading and this poem, please do check out the description of the video for more information about the poet, as well as where to purchase the book. There's also more information about where to find me and a little bit about this series. We'll be back again soon. If you like these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, or commenting below. All these things help keep these videos visible, and the more you share them, the easier it is for other people to discover these poets and these poems. If you are a poet with a book out and would like to be featured on this series, please feel free to reach out to me, either by email or through the comments. I'm always open to suggestions for other poets or in poems to feature on this series, and I love hearing from all of you, and hope that you're enjoying this series and finding as much joy in discovering poetry and celebrating poetry as I have been enjoying throughout this season of pandemic, I guess. I'm grateful for technology. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share these things through this medium, and whether it's you now or you in the future encountering these readings, I hope that you find delight, and I hope that you find inspiration, and I hope it moves you to want to write something yourself. And I'm grateful that we have this platform to do that. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I wish you all the very best. Stay involved with the world, find ways to create, and keep on reading, keep on writing, stay healthy, and stay active, and we'll be back again soon. I'm Neil Aitken. This is the Hermit Poetry Series, and we'll be back with more poetry and more readings shortly. Take care until then. Bye.